America, there needs to be a social media literacy class taught in all schools. Okay, internet literacy in general, because it's gotten out of hand. Okay, and this is just one more incident, one more example of why we need social media literacy in our schools. Because now there's been a viral post accusing Jackson State University of stealing from Deion Sanders, and that is the reason why he left the institution. So let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about it. Before we do, though, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing to hit that button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, okay? I am your homeboy, First Letter. That is my brother, Tim G. Jacob. You understand me? And this is the realest, most entertaining sports show in all of the game. Put it on stuff, okay? So let's talk about it. If you missed out on it, T, fill them in, dog.
So, somebody, I don't even know the name, but a tweeter,
They say it originated on Facebook from somebody in Jackson that is known to be putting out bullshit.
Okay, well, they said, wait till you see the fallout from what I basically have gathered from this whole Prime leaving situation, and had to do with funds being misappropriated, yada yada yada. Money wasn't hitting his pocket like it was supposed to, all that. So then somebody decides to attach a piece from his Earn Your Leisure podcast interview where they came to Jackson State. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure. Them guys do great work. They came to Jackson State, had a sit down with Prime, and basically they took an excerpt from that interview where Deion was talking about basically getting with all the other coaches in HBCUs and changing the dynamics of money and how the schools get paid and all that. And basically he was making a hypothetical example about ticket sales, and whereas where they're basically saying if there's 60,000 people in the stadium, but y'all showing me on the books 30,000 tickets sold, somebody ain't doing what they supposed to be doing, and it's affecting me because his contract was, I believe it was it above 30 or 35,000, over 35,000. He was getting
above 30,000. I want
30,000. He was getting a percentage of the ticket sales, and that was built into his contract. So of course we took that and made it sound like this was the current situation. This is what is actually happening. And Jackson State has piped up and said that is far from the truth. We've done our we've delivered our financial obligations to Coach Prime. This is just some cow, basically. So that's pretty much the gist of it, in a sense. And a lot don't care who tell it. So
now the old folks say, don't
it? So you know what I'm saying?
That's what they used to say.
A lot don't care who tell it. So
with T, this shit burned me up, dog. I ain't gonna care. This shit frustrates me so badly because people just run with all kind of bullshit on social media.
Run with it.
When the truth is just simple and logical. The truth is checkers. It ain't chess. Let's take the truth in this instance. The truth is this. Coach Prime played his college football at a large PWI.
Did.
Okay, Florida State University.
Did.
He was remarkable there. Okay. He went on to play in the NFL and became one of the greatest players of all time, regardless of position. So he's used to the big time. Okay?
Yep.
The logical thing is he sees himself in the big time, what he considers the big time. He wanted to coach at a Power 5 school from the start. That's been out there. It's public record with him saying that himself that he interviewed for 3 jobs.
Yep.
Should have got him. That's what he said. Should have
Thought
got
he
one.
interviewed well. Thought he interviewed well enough to get one.
You've heard his partner, Shannon Sharp, one of his many defenders, but that's his partner, calls him time. He talked to him once a week. The whole time been at Jack State, his partner been saying he wanted to leave. Okay? Nobody would hire him at first. He had been an offensive coordinator in high school. God damn it, I had more coaching experience than Coach Brown.
Right.
I've been a high school head coach.
Right.
Coach Brown couldn't say that.
Right.
So them Power Fives were not, them big white schools were not finna get it to that man like that. Okay.
Yep.
Now, you can say they wrong for that. I think they're wrong for that, especially how we see, I pointed out several times. We've seen folks without coaching experience, Steve Nash, Steve Kerr, Jeff Saturday, at the highest level of sports, get jobs without experience, okay?
Yep.
But they said, no, we want you to prove it, all right? Jackson State gave him a chance to prove it. Jackson State had been struggling. Jackson State's chief in-state rival, Alcorn State University, was killing it. Pre-COVID,
Yeah.
Alcorn walking around this bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Killing it under Hobson, killing it under McNeil. Jack State feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
So you got a guy like Deion Sanders who needs a chance to show what he can do. You got Jackson State University, a blue blood HBCU program that needs to be revitalized. It's a match made in heaven. Okay.
The marriage made in heaven. I think that's what he said.
It was mutually beneficial.
Yeah, it was.
And then once he proved he could recruit and lead a team,
Yep.
Power Fives then said, we want you, especially so you can recruit. He left the end. That's logical and simple.
Can't do it, though. We can't do that, though.
But that's not enough for people. That story is not good enough for people, T. It's not good enough for Coach Prime. He's part of the reason that story ain't out there because he don't want to acknowledge the fact that them motherfuckers did not want him. Instead of saying they turned me down, I had to go prove myself, and earn my stripes. He wants to say God put me at Jack State University. And now instead of saying, I've proven myself that I can coach on that level, and I want to take this next step, because it's what I wanted to do from the start anyway. Instead of just saying that, now it's God want me to go show that a black man can win over here.
Yep.
So that story it ain't good enough for him. And it's not good enough for celebrity worshipers.
Yeah.
See, a celebrity worshiper, they don't want to think that the celebrity that I worship has any flaws. They don't want to think that the celebrity that I worship would do something like that, would talk about God putting me here to uplift all HBCUs and show that we can just play for ourselves. And they don't want to see that their celebrity that they worship didn't live up to what they were talking about. That, so it got to be something else.
Something else, man.
It got to be something else. And don't get me wrong, there are celebrities that I admire. Okay, especially as a fatherless child. I look up my brother Timothy Jack. I say this to him all the time. When he get to talking about game, he gonna quote his daddy.
Yeah.
I ain't no daddy. So when I have to give you game, I'm quoting Hov, Tupac, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, but I don't worship them motherfuckers.
Right.
So I can acknowledge that Hov was wrong to be selling dope. Now you might say, well, he's just selling for survival. Hov in his rhyme, he wasn't just selling for no survival. He buying Lexus and gold chains and doing all this shit and still rap about it to this day. Okay, but I can acknowledge that because I don't worship the man.
Yeah.
I can acknowledge that Tupac was dumb as fuck to go still on Orlando Anderson. But since I don't worship him, I ain't finna make it seem like, oh, it's the FBI that had Tupac killed. It wasn't none of his own doing. No, that was Tupac dumb ass going to hit that real ass killer. That's what got him killed. Okay? But that's just logical. You know what I'm saying? I love Muhammad Ali. I can say he was a fucking womanizer. He was not the best husband.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people don't want to acknowledge the flaws in these celebrities.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So instead of just looking at the logical thing in this instance, T, it has to be that the black school did something wrong.
Yeah.
And see, that shit right there is racist for those who are saying it, who aren't black, and it's self-loathing for those who are saying it that are black. Because see, the idea be the black schools always doing shit wrong. The black schools don't know how to handle business. Black people don't know how to handle business. You hear when people talking about black businesses. A small black business fuck up their order one time, and then see that's why I don't shop with black folks. But McDonald's been fucking up your shit forever.
Or keeping that shake machine down.
Shake machine been down. We trying to solve that. I'm still on in America, but shake machine been down, and don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You give them a second chance.
Third,
you know
a third.
All that, but it's this idea that black is bad. And a lot of black folks buy into that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is serious, America. I'm telling you. This lack of social media literacy and just believing anything on this motherfucker is one of the things that can cripple us as a nation. I'm telling y'all. Because it's deeper than just it. I've seen it, and remember I told y'all I care about way more than just sports. I've seen it in other instances. I've seen it in birtherism, where these motherfuckers were convinced that President Obama was not born in Hawaii, that he was secretly a foreign agent or something, and that he was born outside of the country, and therefore his presidency wasn't legitimate. We had motherfuckers pushing that. The person who won the presidency and was president from 2017 to 2021, Donald Trump, one of the leading voices in that bullshit. President Obama had to show his fucking birth certificate because of these people. We saw it with these lies about COVID. That some broad sit up there and made a video talking about the 5G towers created COVID. Had motherfuckers up here talking about their cell phone was giving them COVID. You had some folks scared to get the vaccine, thinking they're going to put a chip in their arm, not logically thinking, motherfucker, the same device you used to watch that video that told you about the chip in your arm, that device is something that if the government wanted to follow your ass, they can follow you with that. But see, that's too logical. That's too logical. Or people who like to talk about what they call the Tuskegee experiment. So they were thinking, oh, these folks gonna give me this illness if they give me the shot. When they didn't give them folks syphilis. And the folks at Tuskegee don't even want you to call it that. They call it the untreated syphilis experiment. Because them folks had syphilis and they thought they were being treated for it and they weren't. But see, that ain't sexy enough. That ain't interesting enough for people. Or you can look at 2016 when the Russians were putting out bullshit on the internet to make people who may have been Hillary Clinton supporters not support that motherfucker, or to make Donald Trump supporters jazzed up and mad and make them want to go vote so they can get Donald Trump to win. All this shit is factual. This shit happened. Or 2020, that motherfucker lost the election clearly. But all these viral posts saying that he didn't. And what that lead to? That motherfucker went up to the U.S. Capitol and tried to take this bitch over. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is so pervasive. The idiocy. And both of those things had some celebrity worship in it too, because Donald Trump was a celebrity president. You know what I'm talking about? So it's the lack of social media knowledge or literacy, the celebrity worship. We see it in the QAnon bullshit. We see it with the Illuminati. Folks said Kanye West's mama died because he sacrificed her. That's one of the things that shit drove that boy crazy. That's what I saw him on stage doing some storytellers and talking about, y'all want me to kill a motherfucker? Because people were accusing him of killing his own fucking mama. Because you thinking, no, black man can't get rich just because he's nice with music. He got to sacrifice somebody. And so if that's what it takes to be rich, I don't want to be rich. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Or they got deep fakes now. They got shit now where they can take my face and put it on some and make it seem like I said the shit. Or they're taking women faces and putting it on porn stars, and now it might look like your woman is a porn star or something. They doing all this crazy shit, and because people can't tell the difference between real shit and bullshit, it goes viral. We see it in less serious situations with the Dr. King picture that comes out every Black History Month, and in every Dr. King birthday, you see this fucking picture of Dr. King in the damn hospital and shit, and people say, and they call themselves smarter than everybody else. They say Dr. King survived the gunshot wound, and the FBI came into his whole hospital room and smothered him with a pillow. Bitch, that's false. The man had got stabbed by a crazy Black woman long before he got shot. That's what the picture's from. But see, that ain't sexy enough for people. Or you see it with remember they called Sierra. They said Sierra was a man. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
This woman is a worldwide sex symbol, but once upon a time, the internet said she was a man, and so now, what they look like. Now, when the shit turned out wrong, the internet don't go back in.
They don't clean nothing up.
Clean nothing up. Okay.
Ain't gonna be clean.
I mentioned on another segment, again, this less serious stuff, how you got this site Ball Sack Sports, who intentionally puts out bullshit articles to fuck with people and try to get them to think about social media literacy. And they go viral all the time. We need education reform in this bitch. As soon as they came up with the internet and they're going to start letting average motherfuckers use it, we needed social media literacy. We needed internet literacy. Because this shit's gotten out of hand, man. This shit going crazy. Okay? Pay teachers $100,000. Goddamn, a lot of these kids to declare a major and require internet literacy. Because this bullshit got to stop. Use common sense and logic. Common sense and logic. You don't even know who this mother. He's talking about my source. First of all, who the fuck was he? And then who was his source? We don't even know who the man is. But enough people liked it, enough people shared, enough people retweeted to you, and then folks said it must be true. Or if somebody now Twitter showing up, because anybody can have a check mark now knows you pay Elon Musk $8. Now, and a lot of folks don't know, you can click on the damn check mark and see why the person got the check mark. It'll tell you this person got the check mark because they're notable in business or entertainment or something like that. Or they'll say this person got the check mark because they subscribe to Twitter Blue. But if you don't click on that, you just think, oh, this somebody famous. Oh, they said this. Oh, it must be true. I heard my students say that before, T. When I was in the classroom, I heard my students say, oh, they got that check mark by that man. That mean they famous. That mean they somebody. So if the right person get to saying this shit, Willie D.
Yeah.
I saw Willie, that shit disappointing. Willie D the ghetto boy latched on to this damn lie.
Yeah.
And put that shit out there.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up.
Yeah. This is where we at though. Because now we're at a point now where it's like what they used to tell us when we used to write papers back in the day. You had to have how many? You couldn't use the internet. You couldn't use
Wikipedia was off there.
Wikipedia. You couldn't use that.
Motherfuckers are using Wikipedia now though as like golden source.
You had to like go to the library and get 3-5 references to put into your paper and stuff like that. We don't do that no more.
Or when I was in college, early mid 2000s, I'm writing papers for my psychology class and shit like that. They require scholarly journals, online journals.
Right.
You get your shit from nowhere else.
That's right.
Scholarly online journals. Where if you fuck up, let's say you put a falsehood in there, you might lose your job. If it's a scholarly journal, or when you write for one of these real newspapers, if they fuck up, they have to offer a retraction, or they might. It's some kind of consequence for them fucking up.
It is.
The average son bitch that's just putting out shit on YouTube or on Facebook, on Twitter, Ain't no consequence for them making up shit and putting something out there, or hearing something from their homeboy and they throw it out there and you roll with it and it turn out to be false. Hey, no, it don't matter to them.
Exactly.
They got the likes and the shares and retweets, and
Well,
they
and
go.
then, we're here now. We're at that point now where all the people, just keep it simple. People just love the mess. They
Yes,
just love the mess, and
always.
we never pull back and say, you know what, this is a little bit too much. Let me go verify this somewhere else. I mean, we used to deep dive hard on people that like I remember the day that I remember when Aaliyah passed. I had to like go search the internet 3 or 4 different places because I thought it was bull crap because I was on like a little, I think I was playing like an online video game, in like a little chat room, like playing spades or something. And somebody had put it down in there and they was like, man, she gone. And I was like, man, ain't no way, that's bullshit. I went on the internet, Yahoo and different places, and then the news started popping up, and this was long before this really was a thing. And so, I'm having to look for it. And then I think when when MTV said it, that's when I knew it was true. MTV was like my stamp when it came to, musicians or
But
whatever.
look what you're saying. You're saying a reputable source
Yeah.
said something, and then you believed it.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, don't these folks think that Clarence Ledger would have put that story out?
Exactly.
That story would have made somebody's career if they
Exactly.
Clarence Ledger, WLBT, real ones who are outside the state. Clarence Ledger is the biggest paper in the state. WLBT, WAPT, these are local news stations. Okay, they would have been all over that.
All over it. Been all over it.
Not just some motherfucker on the internet who just put out whatever.
And the thing also is, I think we got to stop giving things like that so much energy when it's definitely, when people can take excerpts and pieces, parts of things that most people haven't seen, some have, but not everybody has seen, and then they chop it back up or redevelop it. Like for instance, we'll get into Stephen A, right? And the whole conversation he made about Coach Robinson at Alabama State. Well, all he had to do was just check for it. He didn't have to go on his timeline and look for the beef, the bro hug beef, and the who is who swac and all that, and he ain't swac. And he could have just easily have left that out of what he said on TV.
Lazy.
He just left it. Oh, but he didn't do his homework. Didn't take 3 minutes, because I'm sure his internet works in Bristol. I'm sure the internet works really well. I'm sure they got Wi-Fi all over the headquarters, or even just his phone. He probably got 5G, so it wouldn't have been hard. It wouldn't have took long.
A lot of this shit ain't hard, man.
So, but yeah, I agree. And it's getting bad. It's getting out of control.
It's
But this is where
dangerous.
I think there are adults out here who have been through this era, like we're talking about, that are failing the youth by not telling them, hey man, everything you see ain't what it is. It's some bullshit involved. So take your time and do your homework.
But see, T, the sad thing is the adults don't know either.
That's true.
Because like when they were young, they didn't grow up with no internet.
That's true.
So now they just see shit on the internet. You got all kind of people, age groups on this bitch now, and they're bombarded with stuff. My mama, 75 years old, she gets targeted with stuff on the internet. I had to try to tell her. I put internet security on her shit. I had to try to tell her, Mom, don't click on that. Don't just believe that. You know what I'm talking about? Because I think a lot of people still have trust. I think a lot of people think, like, why would somebody do this?
Mm-hmm.
Why would it be here then? Why would so many people be sharing it if it's not true? But they're not understanding
it's lucrative.
It's lucrative.
It's lucrative.
And it's been like that. It's been like that since we just had newspapers. I had to teach kids about this all the time, about William Randolph Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer and how they became stupid, stanky rich, all being sensationalistic in newspapers. Ain't shit changed. It went from newspapers to the radio doing that. Then you got TV shows that did it.
Yep.
And now it's the internet.
Yep.
But it's worse than ever on the internet because anybody
can do it.
see, everybody didn't have no printing press in the newspaper, the golden age of the newspaper. Everybody ain't have no radio station.
Didn't have no radio show.
Everybody ain't have no TV station.
Mm-mm.
But now, if your ass got an internet connection,
That's all you need.
that's all you need.
Yep. And the people gonna follow. People gonna follow. And so it's up to it in an idealistic way. You're supposed to put forth the most correct of things, but there's no money in that. Nobody wants to hear that. It just goes back to what you said about sensationalizing things, and that's what you grab onto the heartstrings of the people. Now, make it as messy as you can make it. Cause we just love the mess. We got to have it. We got to have it.
Gotta be messy. It got like I mentioned about Pac. Oh, it can't be that Tupac stole on the Crip and the Crip came and shot him, and it was Bloods and Crips involved, and none of them would snitch, and that's why the shooter wasn't found. It couldn't be that. It had to be the FBI who was following Tupac. They got a file on Tupac, but it had to be that the FBI killed him, and then they refused to go find his shooter, and so we got to blame him. His shooter not being arrested because they didn't like his positive messages in his music. When no, it was a good man doing some dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
And in this instance, this was, and I'm not saying Coach Prime is not a good man. Seems like his children love him now. Him and Shiloh seemingly have a little smoke right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's another thing too. Folks acting like the fan base shouldn't be disappointed when it seems like one of his own goddamn children disappointed in him. How the fuck? But that's a whole nother thing. But seems like a good family man. He's obviously provided a living for his kids. He's obviously teaching them the business side of things. So I'm not saying that. But in this instance, he didn't live up to his own rhetoric. And that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And just let it be that.
Yeah.
But all this other Jack State folks ain't gonna let y'all just sit up here and be fucking making up lies. Jack State got enough real problems.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Jackson metro area got enough real shit to deal with for y'all to be making up lies about us.
But again, that's the thing is we rather pile on to the university. All right. They already want to pronounce them as these sour ass people for Prime leaving. Why can't you be supportive of the man? And then now you want to say, well, he don't pay. He never got it. He never got his money. When, okay, why look, we've heard, we know for me and for others, I'm sure we've heard stories about how things get handled at HBCUs, and that's fair, right? But you can't tie that to every situation. The man got his money. There's no reason to run the university in the ground in this instance.
But
they did
like with that point, T. Because people, that's going back to what I said about how the idea that the black schools are always doing something wrong. And I've been in black schools, I've been in white schools. I went to a Catholic school. I've taught in, I went to a Catholic school around upper middle class people. I've taught in Title I public schools. I've been in Southern Miss, been to Jackson State. All the shit that happened at one, I've seen happen at the other.
That happens at the other.
Every damn situation you can think of, I've seen this shit. You want to say somebody misappropriating funds? You want to say somebody being corrupt? You want to say drug usage? You want to say sexual harassment? You want to say bullying? You name it. I've seen it at each stop along my journey in education. But I've seen
what's the difference?
I seen one that get talked about and publicized.
That's right.
I seen the other it get hidden and swept under the rug.
It never get talked about.
You figure out which is which.
You never get. It'll never get talked about, and that's the thing. And we're too quick to pile on to stuff like that, and rather us really go check into it, go see what is really being said or what's really being stated. It was easy for you to go get the podcast because the interview was out there. It's available. It's been chopped up where he said what he said about the hypothetical situation with ticket sales and things like that. So it's out there. So all you had to do was just go search and find and pull it up.
Too much like right.
So it's there. But hey,
Too much like right.
it's America, Jack.
That's where it is. And if we don't get our shit together, our enemies abroad and our enemies domestically gonna be running this shit. If good people sit up here and fall, and I'm not saying all people who fall for this shit are bad people. I got family members who be falling for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that. But I am saying we got to get our shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you can't, everybody can have an opinion. But we can't be loose with the facts.
Mm-hmm.
At least let's get the facts straight and then let's have your opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can't agree on what the fact is, we arguing about bullshit.
Yep.
We just fucking talking.
We ain't talking about nothing.
It's one truth. We need to get right there on that truth, and then you make your mind up on how you feel about the truth. Quit making up shit.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on something.
Thank you so much for watching my daddy's YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, and turn on your post notifications. Okay, how do I do it?